Why, hello there, a knife tale here. I hope this video finds you well. Today I'm bringing you a summary of a knife I have done a full review on. The full review will be linked down in the description should you care to see that. This is the summary. This is sort of a update and shorter version content for those who don't want to see the long blathering stuff and don't care about the specs. The specs are in the full review. This is the Kizer Allure. This is a relatively recently released Kizer. And there's a lot of good here. There is. But there's two things that I think really missed the mark on this one. For me. First of all, I like the overall style. You got sort of a dropping clip point. Nice sort of thin, long blade. Reasonably thin blade stock. I believe it is slightly under 120 thousandths, which is pretty darn good. I like this Damascus with this sort of dark matte wash on it or whatever they've done to it to give it some darkness, or they've darkened it. It's called a black matte, I think, Damascus. It is on bearings. The action is excellent for Kizer, which is pretty standard. They really do know their action pretty decently. Yeah, sure, it's not the perfectly luxurious $400 knife action that you might get on, well, something from Riot. But it's really good action for the price point, and this thing is coming in around that $120 mark. I think this is the cheapest version of this, if I remember correctly. I say this in the full review, but the regular versions that don't have the Damascus have S45 blade steel, and they're actually slightly more expensive. They also have micarta inlays. This has a rosewood inlay. It's got a front flipper and a hole aperture. Both of them are fine. The front flipper benefits from being so high in the leverage in relation to the pivot. The jimping is not the greatest. And on the hole, they've sort of radiused and rounded the hole a little bit too much, so it's a little bit slippy for the thumb flick, though you can definitely get it. So they both work. They're fine. Like, see, I just slipped over there because it doesn't go all the way around. It's not the greatest jimping. But it works. It's fine. You can do your stuff. So I can't, like, hold it against it. The reverse flick also works pretty decently. They were smart with the shape of this hole where you can kind of get your hand in there and get at a good angle for it. One of the areas where this knife absolutely and utterly drops the ball is behind the edge. That's the biggest thing for me, and this is 22 thousandths, so 22 thousandths behind the edge on this knife. There is no reason this knife should be this thick. This is not a heavy-duty knife. This is not a beater knife. This is, I mean, even if you are going to use it a lot, it's not the geometry that's going to really excel on this knife. I mean, I criticized the 22 thousandths on the 80 20.5, and that is a heavy-duty beater sort of style knife. This one, while it's the same geometry, it did cut, I mean, it's the same behind the edge. It did cut a little bit better than the 80 20.5, at least mine did. But it's still, paper, it'll go through. I mentioned this in, I'm saying a lot. I mentioned this in the full review. I'm trying to recollect. Index card, which is thicker, tougher paper kind of basically stuff, it wasn't very happy about. It definitely bent that a little bit. And cardboard is fine. It's not a luxurious slicer. It just isn't, unfortunately. And that's kind of what I was hoping this knife would be, with just the look of it and everything. It's especially with the Damascus. It's got sort of a gentlemanly vibe to it. It's definitely not the thin slicer that I wanted it to be, which is a pretty big negative, honestly. Moving on from that, sharpen trim plunge grind is fine. It could be better. I wish the plunge grind was further back, but fortunately the stop pin hits back here, which is not going to interfere with anything, so you're fine expanding that, though you're definitely going to be thick up that high. Once you take off a bit of material, it's going to be thick, which is, yeah, it's really hurting this knife. It really is. If they had done a thin flat or a hollow on this thing, it would be vastly, vastly better. Like, I would really like this knife if it did. As it stands, I'm just sort of on the fence. I like the looks of it. I like what it's doing. The ergos are solid, especially for such a narrow knife. It's got contoured scales. The inlays of the wood here are, even though you've got, like, you know, voids in the stabilized wood can do that. It's very well done. The inlays feel good. The wood feels really nice. You can see a little bit of milling on it. The titanium is wonderfully executed with nice rounded edges. Reasonably thick titanium too. So you can see there how thick it is on the contouring. Lock bar access, excellent. Drops to your nail, doesn't really hit you even at the edge of the blade. You can get it from the side, and the action is pretty darn excellent. Backspacer, lanyard pin for those who care. It is not a reversible clip. The clip is the other weakness for this knife. It doesn't really belong on this knife. It not only has a flat at the end, which they could have just straight up gotten rid of and stopped the clip there, but this knife, in my opinion, is begging for just a simple popsicle stick titanium clip. Just a nice, clean little thing. It's fine. It is deep carry. It gets pretty deep in the pocket, and it works, despite the flat, even though it is a little bit funky in some of the tighter stuff due to this flat at the end. But this knife could have been next level, especially for its price point. And they've really just slightly... They tripped at the finish line, basically, is what they did. Ergos are pretty solid for such a thin knife. The thickness, even though it's not very thick, but the contouring, it really just puts you in a good spot, and it's comfortable. And even with the clip, as this clip is, yeah, it's good. But it should be just slightly better. It could be so much slightly better with just a little bit of change in that geometry and a different clip on this thing. We could have a home run, and it's painful that it's as close as it is, but it didn't quite get there, in my opinion. So this is a rare sort of miss for Kizer, at least in my experience. I've had a number of Kizer knives on the channel. Let's see. Right next to me, I have them in a drawer. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 right here. I might have had another one or two at different points. I'm not even sure. Yeah. Every Kizer knife I've had so far... yeah, I do have other ones in a different location. There's a sheepdog in the drawer in the other room. I don't think I've ever had a Kizer that just kind of completely missed the mark in terms of what I was hoping and expected out of it versus what I actually got. It's not terrible. It's not a bad knife. I'm still willing to link it down below just because it's not a bad knife at all. It's a fine model. But, well, no, it could be a better knife is what I'm trying to say. It could be better for the task of cutting. But what's actually here, their execution, the way Kizer's handled everything, other than that thickness, is pretty darn good, especially for its price point. Centered, no play, yeah. I don't know. I'm divided on this one. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to end things here. Say thank you very, very much for watching. Consider liking and subscribing. Have a great day, and I'll hopefully see you in another day. Or you can go watch another video of mine right now. I have quite a few of them on the channel already. I'm not complaining. Do that. I'll see you later. That's it for me.